What's going on, you good humans? Welcome to guest episode 216 of Good Humans podcast. Today's guest is somebody who I grew up with and has had a really, challenging story. He got struck with a really challenging drug addiction and alcohol addiction and went through a really dark time throughout his 20s, but he's now come out the other side. He's been sober for almost 2 years, and it's just so beautiful to see the journeys that he's on, to see the honesty that he's had with himself and, the life that he's turned around, really. His name's Davey Lloyd. He was on The Bachelorette a couple years back. The first season with Sam Frost. I think he came 6 on it. But then, he was just so entrenched in the tradie life, in the external validation, in the class clown, trying to, be these things that weren't really true to him. But he got heavily into drugs, alcohol. He talks about dealing drugs and some really, not positive, good human things in this episode. But what I really love is how he's turned his life around. He actually died and had a seizure and had to be resuscitated and brought back to life after a drug-fueled bender, which is just so sad and tragic, but very lucky to still have him here today. He's so proud of sharing his story. So if you do enjoy today's episode, make sure you share it with a friend. If you have anybody in your life who is struggling with addiction, or anybody who you think, is starting to head down a path where maybe they don't want to be going, send him this episode. I think it's a massive eye-opener. I'm so proud of Davey and the journey he's been on. Also, my new book, The 1% Good Club, comes out on October 1st. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right there. If you are listening right now, it is all about transforming your mental health and dedicating 1% of your day to your mental health. So the link is in the show notes. You can grab a copy pre-sale. It really helps us get this message out there. I know it has the power to really impact so many people's lives. So if you can grab a copy, I'd be very, very appreciative. You can also head over to thegoodhumanfactory.com, learn all about the wellbeing workshops that I run for corporate groups, high schools, sporting clubs, and everything else in between. You can find that at thegoodhumanfactory.com. You can use code podcast, get 25% off any of our merch over on the website as well. That's enough for me. Let's jump into today's episode. Welcome to Good Humans Podcast, Davey Lloyd. Welcome to Good Humans Podcast, Davey Lloyd. How you going, brother?
Good, mate. And yourself?
I'm very well. It's really nice to see you and see how you are looking today. You've been on such an incredible journey over the past couple of years to find sobriety. You've been on a few podcasts recently sharing your story, and we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
My mum and your mum are good friends. We've known each other, I guess, since we were kids.
For sure.
And it's really special to see where you're at right now, because there's obviously been some serious ups and serious downs on your journey. So first question I ask everyone, what are you grateful for right now, today in life?
Peace.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure to be here, mate. It's I've definitely wanted to jump on your podcast for a while. Things just worked out, and right now I'm very appreciative to be here.
No, it's really cool to see your journey, man. But how we're going to do this episode today is we're going to go on a bit of a chronological through your life. You've had some really crazy stuff happen from, dying a couple of years ago from a drug overdose and being resuscitated, rehabilitation. You've been on reality TV.
Yeah.
You've done a whole bunch of stuff. You're a tradie. You've lived what is pretty a normal, culturally accepted life when it comes to tradie lifestyle, I guess, especially in our community here on the Northern Beaches from what I've been around. So I think a lot of people are going to relate to your story, but hopefully find some strength to steer this ship in a different direction, because, mate, just looking at you now, you look so healthy and happy. It's bloody great.
Nate, I'm definitely helped to shear the step. So, mate, it's been crazy these last couple of months, and years. The tradie lifestyle is just fucking so toxic, man. Beers every arvo on Friday after a concrete pour, and what baffles me the most is they have the Chrissy party once a year, and everyone gets excited for that one day of the year to get fucked up with their peers, and it's like that kind of just explains the culture of the tradie lifestyle. It's like, all right, boys, you're going to work your ass off for 12 months and I'm going to give you one day of the year to get fucked up. For me, that kind of just explains everything around the scenario of how toxic it can be on a tradie worksite. And I mean, why can't we change that? Why can't we go, all right, let's go take you to a holiday somewhere or take your weekend away surfing? Something that's enjoyable that you can bond together. Of course, getting fucked up, you bond, but it's not natural, And all you do is end up bitching about someone at work or something like that, you know. So I guess if you take this scenario out to a surfing trip or something like that, you're probably going to become a stronger team.
I love that. Well, we're going to get through your journey, and I always take people on a chronological of their life. So you're going to have plenty of ups and downs to go through. So let's go back to the start. Talk to me about your childhood, how life was like as a kid. Let's talk up until you hit high school, what you remember of your upbringing.
So I guess I'm one of three. I had a brother who passed away before me. Lived in Northern Beaches. We lived at Warrior Beach, surfed like, you know, every day as you do when you're a Grom. Kind of found outlets with sports. And it was in year 6 I got diagnosed with ADHD. I guess ADD back then was the milder version. ADHD was like, well, you're a bit aggressive and stuff like that. I had ADD where I was really good at sport. I wasn't the best in class because I couldn't control myself. But I don't think I was very angry. So I just had like too much energy and I didn't know how to channel it. So there was a situation that happened at school. Did you go to North Narrabeen?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Did you go to North Narrabeen Primary as well?
I went to North Narrabeen Primary. I was a prefect.
No way.
And
I was a prefect when I was there.
Yeah, I was. What? How old are you?
31.
Yeah, so I'm 35. So
yeah,
you would have been
there
year 2.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Josh Hallinan was my buddy at school.
Really?
Yeah, so you must have been like 2 years below him.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay, crazy. Yeah, I was in Luke Tagg's year and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what actually happened, there was a incident. We were playing sport in the back oval and we were playing footy and I picked a guy up and shook him and he didn't come to school for 2 days. I ended up getting sent into the principal's office with my parents saying David's been in a sexual encounter with a student. He's picked a student up and humped him. And it was so wild to think that my dad kind of looked at me like, what the fuck have you done? And I'm like, I don't know. I just picked him up and shook him, but I think he got embarrassed and just thought it was a sexual conduct. And I was kind of like, you know, if that's how he saw it, I apologize. But I was getting in trouble a lot and the principal said I should go see a pediatrician. I went and saw a pediatrician and they pretty much diagnosed me straight away. And I remember the thought of when I was diagnosed, I was like, yes, I've got ADD. And I really wanted to do it because I thought it was cool to be medicated and seen as like, oh, he's a bit wild, he's got ADD. And I guess that whole image for me was the popular kid, played sports, naughty, and that was like something I like to attach myself to.
It's like the external validation, but not even validation, just like being seen. It's like people are talking about you, thinking about you because you've got this, you know, thing
100%.
that's a little bit different about you.
Yeah. And I guess that's because I was the youngest of 3 boys, I didn't seem seen. So I was constantly from a young age chasing that external validation. And, you know, these tablets really affected me, man. I reckon like, I was playing
like Ritalin from a young age.
It definitely stopped me becoming confident in sports. Playing like 4 sports a week to like playing North Sydney and stuff like that, to progressing to state, to not wanting to even want to be on the football field. You know, it was that was the start of kind of, I guess, now that I said it like that, and this is why I love doing podcasts because you learn so much about yourself. That's probably where it started, that seeking of validation.
It's interesting as well doing podcasts. That's why I love doing this format of taking people back to their childhood, because you can't connect the dots looking forward, but when you look back, you can kind of connect things. And when you give yourself that space and you get time to reflect with hindsight, you go, oh, those patterns have kind of led me to having this mindset. I can unlearn them. So it's like, it's really interesting, and it's a cool way to, like, that's why I love and have always done the podcast like this, because you watch people go on that journey of like, oh yeah. So let's talk about high school now. So you're diagnosed, and I mean, I'm definitely not a doctor, but my understanding is ADD is attention deficit disorder and ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. But it sounds like you had that hyperactivity as well.
For sure. I don't know really how they.
And how it seems like it's Yeah, interesting. And I feel like nowadays with so many more stimulants and different things that are going, when I say stimulants, I mean watching screens, all this extra dopamine running through
100%.
kids' minds. That's why I feel like we're seeing more ADHD diagnosis nowadays.
Dopamine depleting.
Absolutely. But let's talk about high school now. So you prefect at primary school, you get put on medication for your ADD. Marta Maria High School.
Marta Maria,
you went to sister. I mean, you went to school with my sisters.
Yeah.
So talk me through the high school experience. What was that like for you?
So I guess year 7, you're nervous, and I just started taking Ritalin at the end of year 6.
Yep.
So coming into year 7, the pediatrician tells me he wants me to put me on higher dosage. So Ritalin was 5 milligrams. So they end up putting me on Concerta, which is 54 milligrams. So it's 10 times, their strength. 11 pretty much times the strength. And that was 12-hour slow release. So you'd have that in the morning and it'll last till about 3 o'clock, and then I was supposed to have a Dexy in the afternoon, which is another 5 milligrams. And the tablets they worked, right? But they put you in a shell of someone who you weren't. And I remember so distinctly sitting in class, and the ADHD still goes on your brain, but your body is controlled. So like you're having this constant pulling sort
Push,
of with yourself.
Yeah, wow.
And I remember sitting there and just going, yell something out, and like almost like convulsing a bit, but not being able to get the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, wow.
And that kind of then puts you in a shell of a human again.
Like a filter on you.
Yeah.
Like, wait, this isn't actually me.
Exactly right. And then you're kind of confused, and you're like, oh, I don't like this. You don't eat. It really helped me with year 12 to get to year 12.
It helped you focus and be able to get your work done.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I would have lasted to year 12. I probably would have been expelled. I got suspended all the time. I probably would have been expelled. And not because like I was this wild, aggressive kid that wanted to punch teachers in the face. I just couldn't control myself in a way distracting others. Yeah. And I guess I was just a bit cheeky and naughty, and I kind of talked back to the teachers and
trying to get that validation.
Yeah, I guess
just be
from
seen.
the students. From the students, and like to be that cool person in the class.
Yeah,
I obviously had to be the naughty one, and that's kind of what I saw it as.
Yeah.
So I guess definitely in taking those tablets, put me in a bit of a head fuck.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the back end of high school then, because you said you finished year 12.
Yeah.
You went into becoming a tradie after, which, I don't know the story directly after school, but a lot of kids, if they're maybe in your situation, will leave in year 10 and go start their trade early. So I think it's great that you finished school. I think it's a really important thing to stick out. If, you've done 10 years there, why not go the extra 2? What was those last couple of years of high school like? Because knowing my story and assuming yours, you would have started drinking and partying through those last few years of high school. So when did you find, I guess, alcohol and drugs? What was your introduction to it? And how did you manage that through the last couple of years of high school?
Well, I guess I had 2 older brothers, right? They weren't druggies or anything like that, but I definitely saw weed and bongs around the house, like from my oldest brother. And I actually got introduced to, I had my first ecstasy when I was like maybe year 9 or 10 from a professional footy player, which I grew up with. And I was just walking to Manly, and he just goes, have this. And I was like, what is it? And I was with some of my older mates, and it was half a pinger. And I remember going, what the fuck? Like, what was that? And like, did you just have a pinger? I'm like, I think so. Like, I don't know. He just gave it to me. And
it's that external validation again.
Yeah.
Like, well, they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly right. But like, I guess I'm not going to say I didn't have a choice, but he's like, have this. And I was like, oh, fuck, righto. Yeah. Like, I just had a couple of beers, and we didn't Manly. So it must have been year 9 or 10, and I was using my brother's fake ID. And I didn't really feel much from it. You know when there's people that say you have your first drug and it made you feel like home? Because I was already on these stimulants as I was young, it kind of just felt like I was as charged, but I was just able to kind of function with the confidence.
Express yourself a bit more. Yeah.
So it gave me the validation. It did give me validation, but it gave me like this sense of like, I can concentrate and be confident. So I guess that kind of led to, oh shit, maybe I should have more of these on the weekends. So I started doing chores around the house, mowing the lawns, doing everything for $20. That was my pocket money, and I'd buy a pinger with it. So then that led to, why don't I sell them? So I started selling him.
In high school?
Yeah, in high school. But what actually kind of led me to start selling, which I forgot to say, was I used to sell my ADD tablets to buy money for pingers because they wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Well, the ADD tablets. I needed something stronger. So my friends would have these. I'd sell them for like $10. And they were actually expensive. They're $154 for 30 tablets.
Yeah, wow.
So I sold them for that, and they used to get fucked up from them. And I'm like, whoa, they make me normal.
Yeah.
So then I used to use that money to buy ecstasy. And then I was like, fuck, why don't I just buy heaps of them and sell them? And then that progressively got worse from year 10 to 12. And I remember we would be smoking weed before school and we were eating pingers in woodwork class.
Wow.
We were double dumping pingers in year 12 at class and doing bush runs up to Marta.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then, some of the other boys are like, let's just have some. We're in fucking year 12 eating pingers at school. Like, I don't know if kids would do that now, but like...
I feel like things are changing now a little bit, hey?
Yeah,
It's
definitely. Changing for the better, but obviously this vape epidemic's disgusting.
Yeah, there's other things.
But I'm seeing a lot of other kids wanting to do that sober life.
I think this is like the first generation where we've seen a downtake of alcohol sales for this like youngest generation. Really? Yeah, which is really exciting from the future, that younger people are becoming a bit more aware. It's like, I guess there is more information out there, but there's still, going to be that urge to kind of go and party and do those things from a young age. When you were finishing high school, what did you think like career-wise life was going to look like for you? Were you like...
Yeah. Okay, so my uncle's a plumber and I wanted to work with him. Mm-hmm. But then I realised, fuck plumbing, man. Like, you're around shit all day. Like, I got the worst gag reflex. So I went, okay, I like woodwork. I'll go do carpentry. Mm-hmm. And I finished my HSC exam on Friday, did a trial on a Monday. So I was still in year 12 trying to get into the building industry because I just felt like I had a job for so young. And obviously I wanted to buy.
And you wanted to go party.
Exactly. So I wanted money.
That money, yeah.
My mum and dad were working hard to get to where they were, but they didn't have spare money to pass around.
To cover your school fees and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly right. They had 3 boys that were working their asses to put food on the table. It was tough. So I had a job since I was like 14.
Yeah, same.
I worked at Macca's, then was a dish pig. And then
used to clean the factory at Chili Surfboard
it's
and
like,
all that stuff, yeah.
It delivered Chinese as well and stuff. So, I always had a job, but it was always to support my habits and support my lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And that's why I sold drugs. As an apprentice, I was getting like $300, $400 a week.
Yeah, wow.
And then I had to get a loan for a car. And then I sold drugs to help
support your lifestyle.
Yeah, but then
because you saw this is an easier way to make money than going and fucking digging holes.
Yeah, but then that also kept me in the category of the validation of the cool guy. I'll get attention. He sells drugs. I'm going to hang out with him, and that was like I'm the cool guy still. So that was still attachment was played on, and that played on until recently.
Yeah, wow. Let's talk about getting your apprenticeship as a builder. That first, I guess, 4 years as an apprentice, what that chapter was like for you, trying to manage, I guess, building drug addiction, but also, selling and trying to, create a job and get an apprenticeship. So let's talk about that, finishing school up until your early 20s, what that period of life was like.
That was chaos. So mate, first off, you do an amazing job with this stuff. I just have to say that before you really give me light to get into this space and open up with your vulnerability.
No, I appreciate it. So, I mean, we've all gone through our stuff, and maybe we can share a story of when we've had some loose times together back when I was in, my late teens, early 20s. And I just feel like we're all on a journey, We all sometimes have to go through those chapters to see the other side. And some of those chapters are a few chapters, some of those books are a few chapters longer for some people.
Absolutely.
Definitely have some things that I'm not proud of, but it's also part of my story. So for you to be so vulnerable and to share, this chapter of yours is, really special. So
but this is coming from seeing what you've done now. So but from the first, and why I'm saying that is because when I was 18, I had my first love of my life, high school sweethearts. And I was tough, man, when we broke up. I didn't know what to do. Bro, still to this day, she's got such a big spot in my heart, place in my heart. And we broke up when I was 18. And I went in to do my apprenticeship. And I didn't know how to deal with breakups and shit, man. So like I partied. So my whole like it took me years to get over it, right? Still like girlfriends in the interim, but I never really saw past and worked on the breakup with my first girlfriend.
I know
So
that feeling
yeah,
very well.
man. So I just pushed it to the side, did everything to kind of get over it, and not deal with it head on. So my emotional maturity was really
Stunted.
Yeah, stunted. Like, so I took that partying to the next level when I started my apprenticeship. And I think for the first 4 years, I just fucking ripped in. And I didn't retain the information. And that first 4 years should be like the biggest
learnings.
Yeah. So I kind of stunted how I was going to be as a tradie as I got older. And in the first 4 years, I was working for a big company that, you know, you're not really on the tools unless you're really good. Like there's like what they hire so many apprentices, but you're like brickies labourer, you're doing landscaping, you're doing the cleaning, you're doing shit.
Yeah.
So by that stage, because I was partying so much, I wasn't excelling. So I was pretty much experienced labourer and doing these other bits and pieces and not getting really experience and responsibility.
Skilled, yeah.
So as I came into the tradie, my confidence was fucked. So I did that whole 4 years of partying and taking the piss out of something that could set my future up.
Yeah, it's interesting that like self-loathing and that pushing down rather than actually facing it with like a first breakup is so common, but it's a bloody hard thing to have the emotional maturity to not play the victim card and go, wait, what was my role in this breakup? Or maybe my partying, maybe the way that I treat her, maybe the way that I'm showing up is the problem, not her. But at that age, you're like, oh, fuck that, she's doing it. It's like 100%. There's no like looking in the mirror, which takes a while. And yeah, it takes all of us a long time to realize, you know what, maybe I was the problem here.
I'm only getting through that now with my life coach and doing these breakthrough work to go. And I've had to call up past exes. And I actually did one last week. And I just said, look, I apologize for how I was. It's not just you. It's me. And I apologize for my part. I don't expect you to apologize, but for me to progress, this is what I want. And then I guess on doing that, when we touch back to those 4 years and we haven't learned, I always say, if you're not fixing it internally, it's going to come out externally. Now, that is a big play when alcohol is involved, because how can you fix what's inside when it's coming out outside? You know, and your outside is then surrounded by alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
You know, you have to take that time away from it to do the healing. And I guess that's why some females get over relationships quicker. Not get over, but because males like, fuck you, I'm going to go rip in, whatever. And deal with it immaturely. Where females, I find, sit and talk to the girls about it and they work on it. And then it's a guy kind of going back and forth with a toxic part, like, how could you do this? You're hanging out with that guy, where they've done the work prior and it takes the male a lot longer to kind of get over it.
Yeah, that maturity comes at a bit of a younger age.
Yeah, exactly right, the maturity.
The maturity, but also the community that gets around you in a way that's not like, oh, let's go have a beer to get over it. It's like, oh, let's, you know, go for a walk and talk about it. Which, it's an interesting thing. Yeah.
Then that comes to the whole the thing of the man. Like, we're taught from such a young age to not open up.
Get over it.
Yeah, get over it, move on. And it's when you're upset, you're like, shut up, stop crying. And I'm really thinking there's this new wave of...
It's like, don't get over it, get under it. Like, bring it up and
exactly
clear
right.
it out. Don't just push it down and get over it. It's
and then I think that's why we're not brought into this world to open up from day dot. So that's why I find, yes, male is a lot immature, but it's because we don't work on our emotions. And it's not we're mature in different ways, but emotionally we're very emotionally immature.
Definitely, some of us, and it takes time to learn it. I want to talk now about, I guess, your 20s as a bit of a whole. Give me one word to describe your 20s.
Chaos.
It's a word that I feel like most can relate to at times in their lives, but for your whole 20s to be chaos. Let's talk through the 20s and what the end of your 20s was like, because that'll start to get us closer towards, I guess what you'd call rock bottom. And I know you had some rock bottoms and then still relapsed and didn't, take the help that was around you at times. So talk me through that end of your 20s, what life looked like on a, weekly basis.
It was very sporadical, I must admit. It was, I would get in these toxic relationships and I thought the only way to connect was through drugs.
I'm going to pause here because this is also the time that you started going on reality TV,
Yeah.
right? This end of
Yeah.
your 20s.
Yeah.
So let's add that into the story and into the colour
Sure,
of this story
sure.
of
Yeah.
you're in your late 20s, you're a tradie, you're a good-looking dude, you're
Yeah.
pulling girls, you're selling drugs, you
Yeah.
know, the life of the party.
Yeah.
Then you go on reality TV.
Yeah.
Talk me through the decision there and what that did for your confidence, what that did for your lifestyle.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, really just blew it up, really. Because I think, you know, I was with some of the boys and we were really all came out of a bad relationship and we're all just bonded and we're just all like, let's just get as fucked up as we can for a year straight.
So you went on The Bachelor, right?
No, so I had a bad breakup when I was 24.
Yeah.
I had a wedding ring for a partner.
Yeah.
I had my shit together. Like, I was investing in companies. I think at that age when I was 24, that was really like, and this is like, I love opening up and finding these parts in my life, you know? Yeah. The crossroad. 24, I had my shit together.
So you started saving a bit.
Saving,
I was drugs as much. Or
I was.
saving with the selling
I
drugs?
just started
Yeah.
selling cocaine at 24. And I had a relationship with this girl and her ex-partner used to sell drugs. And she broke up with him because of that. So I started doing it for the money. And she's like, as long as you're doing it for the money and it doesn't cause problems. And as you know, it can cause problems. Mm-hmm. So we had this relationship and I just started selling and I was just like super into it and getting it. And it just became a means to an end and we were doing it more than we should because it was there. And I had a ring for her. And we broke up. And the funny thing is, she was actually supposed to she was applying for The Bachelor. And she got to the last stages and she pulled out because she met me. And then I was like, how can you watch this shit? This is fucked. We broke up. I went down a downward spiral, partying everywhere. You know, there was all these videos of me on benders and stuff and living their life. And then a friend nominated me to go on The Bachelorette. And I got on and I was like, fuck, as if they're going to put me on this. Like, I'm a wild party boy. Front covers of magazines. I was like on benders with like, you know, all these attire dress ups and shit like that. And it really propelled my partying because I was going to events, I was doing all this stuff. And I was constantly kind of seeking that external validation.
And so you got on, so you applied for The Bachelor. You're in the season with Sam Frost.
Sam
You
Frost,
got
the very
first, right?
No,
you did good.
No, I did
fifth or
good.
something.
Yeah. So I first season, first one to meet out of anyone. It's the first season in Australia with Bachelorette. I was the first one to meet. I just came off a pinger riddled bender at a mate's house, and I was so anxious, man. That's the first time I had a full panic attack.
Because you probably would have been detoxing while you're in the house.
Bro, I was so scared. Yeah, man. I was like, I was so nervous. And I remember we're in the limo and the guy next to me, we're talking and he tells me that he's just come off a bender. I'm like, fuck off. I have too. Is this a stitch up? Like, he's obviously playing tricks on me to try and get information. I didn't know what I was expecting. Anyway, they pull up to the house in the limo and I get out and I see all the lights and see this walkway with everything. And, you know, I have a full-blown panic attack. I get out of the car, can't breathe, this heavy chest. I'm like, oh my gosh. And like, I'm scat. Like, you know, my words weren't as good as they are now because I was just constantly in this drug-fueled bender. Yeah. And get to it and I just start word vomit. I was like, pleasure to fucking meet you. I'm so sorry for swearing. Fuck, I just swore again. You know, like just shit. And then it was just, after the show came out, it was just chaos, man.
Yeah, because you went pretty good in the... Well, you
came sixth.
Yeah, you came sixth. Yeah. So you're in the show for a bit. And that's like, I mean, not that it isn't now, but reality TV back then is like you shoot to stardom straight away. And for
100%.
someone who... I mean, you go in a house with 20 other dudes who... At the end of the day, 19 of you aren't going to get picked. So 19 of you are generally like, fuck it, let's just become mates and fucking have a good time.
Yeah.
And I know you became good friends with a lot of the guys after.
Yeah.
Was that some of your most challenging times where you had a bit more profile, you're invited to more of these parties, you're the guy that can help sort it out and make it an even better party?
Yeah.
Did that just fuel the darkness in your life?
It did. But also what fueled it, and this is like these online warriors, like keyboard warriors, I was reading into the comments a lot through the media when they put out articles and that really affected me.
Because there are people who are calling you kind of like, oh, little Davey,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like the little immature one. So
Yeah,
did that
yeah.
sort of feed you in like, well, fuck you, I'll show you how
100%.
immature I can be, and like.
But it also fed my emotional immaturity because I'd read these comments and be like, that's not fucking true. And then I'd reply to them, and then I'd be like, I'll stuff it, I'll go and party and just like, you know, forget about that. And instead of working on it, being like, don't worry about these people. I was like, no, I need to then go above and beyond and get everyone's validation. Again, we say that word, validation, externally, you know, and try and find these people who somewhat look up to me and are kind of follow me around because I'm the important, famous guy now.
Yeah. Then you go on a few other reality TV shows.
Yeah, you think after that I'd learn.
Yeah, well, no, you kind of get a sniff of it, and it's, I guess, like a drug. You kind of like,
exactly,
I want more of that. Like
100%.
The celebrity status starts to fade a little bit. It's like, all right, I'll go on another one.
Yeah. So it was like 2 years after, and I was still partying, and I guess by that end of I was still trying to ride the wave of kind of being important and seen. And then I got a call to go on to the Bachelor in Paradise. And I did that, and I was like, fuck it. It's $500 a day, no matter what. You go on holidays. I'm not enjoying myself. It's maybe a bit of an extra boost, confidence boost. And then I jumped on, and that's when I got kicked out first. But I ended up, what happened was I chose the wrong person because I was picking my mate's friendship. He was interested in Florence, but he said, don't go there. I was interested in it too. He said, don't go there. She's mine. I was like, whatever. And the producers actually told her not to pick me because she would look bad. So they created all this, a drama around it. And I actually had a meeting with them to be the Bachelor of Australia after that.
Wow.
So it was me, I think Michael Turnbull and the Honey Badger. So I had a 3-hour meeting with them to be the Bachelor of Australia. Big panel like around, and
Crazy.
I didn't know what the fuck I said for 3 hours, but it obviously wasn't great, and I didn't get it. And then I went on the following season after that, where they got me and Florence together, but I got kicked out before she got there. But then they flew me back over.
Reality TV is just a fucking weird one.
And
those Bachelor in Paradise ones, they feed you drinks, and try and get you pissed, don't they?
They do, but they also have a liability now. So every two, you can only have two every hour.
Okay.
But what it is you have everyone has sex. Like it's So I'm not one to have sex around people. Like it's just like that's me and my partner.
You like your privacy bit.
But they've got a big infrared camera and like in the corner of the room. And
see everything.
So I had an incident with a girl ran into my room and just started hooking up with me. And apparently in the American one, there was a sexual assault charge.
Oh, wow.
So before you have sex with someone, consent, you have to both say, I consent having sex with her. And she's over there saying the same thing and you're just giggling. And then what they do is they just let you go into the room. And then they say they put a towel over the monitor. But how do we know? So like you're gonna find all these little places to have sex with them where the camera's not there and shit, and it's fucking wild.
Tough.
So when that girl ran into my room, that she's like hooking up with me in the bed and we're having a bit of full round. Producers are running in, man, and they're like, "Stop! You can't do that. I got to consent." And then they tell me that I can't have sex with her because she's too drunk. And they go, "Just even though she consents, we've got it on film. It's just not a good look." And I said, "So fine."
Yeah, wow. Fuck, those shows just like. Yeah, they trip me out. It's like I applied for Big Brother and like got close and then didn't get on once, and I'm like glad I didn't now.
Yeah.
Then I almost did the celebrity Amazing Race and missed out by like one spot, which would have been so fun. But anyway, let's talk about now this last, I guess, let's talk about the year or two leading up to your seizures and you dying and being resuscitated, like what that looked like for you. Because I know, when you're addicted to drugs, so many parts of your life start to fall apart. You end up in debt, you end up literally making money to pay off your debt so you can buy more drugs, so you're barely feeding yourself, you owe money to people, you're not it's present with life. Yeah, it's chaos. So talk to me about the year leading up to your medical sort of episodes.
So that was like I said before, it's sporadically got worse. So like after my breakups, I never worked on them. I always kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And I always did the same thing I did when I was 18. So 18, I created this victim mentality and saw this release in partying, the validation from friends who were feeding me the wrong information.
It was like, you have a break. Come on, let's go to the pub, have a beer.
Yeah.
It's like,
as fuck her, bro. You don't need her. You got the boys. Fair enough. I do need the boys.
which is harder as well, because quite often it's not coming from a ill place when your mates are doing that. But that's just what we've been. That's what we've been. What's the word? Sort of championed since we were kids.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, come on, let's go have a big fucker.
I know.
So it's like
we're conditioned to that.
Yeah, we're conditioned to it. That's the word I was looking for. So it's like, how do we break that condition and be like, hey, you've had a breakup, man. Let's go to the sauna. Let's have a chat. It's like, how do we start to do that? So talk me through, because I know when you were going through these parts of your life, like we have a lot of great mutual friends, there was people that were trying to be like, hey, pull your fucking head in, mate.
For sure.
But you're listening to the ones who are saying, let's go have a beer, fuck them. And you're like, yeah, these are the ones who got my back compared to these ones.
Well,
so for any young man who's a tradie or anyone who's, on that week in, week out, drugs every weekend, alcohol every weekend, what signs do you wish you listened to that you didn't?
Massive one is those people that came to me and said, hey, I'm worried about you, care. They had to, it's not comfortable to walk up to someone and say, you need to stop doing drugs, because you know that person's going to react.
Yeah.
And that is when you can tell if they react, they're reacting with their traumas and they're reacting with their addictions, because they don't want to hear it. So they'll think you're the bad guy, I'm the victim. Let's go party.
Yeah.
So what I can say is, I have a lot of friends that are in this position now who are partying, and I don't know how to bring it up to them, but I'm gently saying it to them. It comes to a point where you have to make that decision yourself. And I know it's very cliche, but it is the truth. Because the people that came up to me and tried to tell me to stop were the people that cared the most. And I look at them like, I respect you so much.
See, whereas back then you looked at them and thought, fuck you, you're judging me.
Exactly right.
You're like judging me rather than being, you're actually judging me because you care.
Because you're listening through your traumas and you're listening through your addiction. It's like people that want to heal and learn will listen. The people that have their addictions and traumas will push you away.
So talk me through rock bottom.
Rock bottom. So going on to that, I was in this like emotional turmoil and just this really self-defeating mode. And I was in so much debt.
Still going to work?
Still going to work to pay for my drugs.
Yeah, so you'd be making, a couple grand a week, but that would be just enough to cover.
But that was covering up the weekends prior, covering up the ounces that I was buying. And I was just in this vicious cycle. So I was a foreman for a company and I was just late 4 times a week, not rocking up, not there, just kicking dirt pretty much. And I just was in this emotional fucking downfall. And I had a really toxic relationship. And I was partying hard, man. Like, I went through these stages where I was ripping in. But as you get older and you're pushing yourself...
When you say ripping in, like 3-4 days a week without sleeping, the other few days just getting shit sleep.
So not just on the weekends. This is like every second day. But like when I ripped in, it was a 40-hour thing. So I might party from like a...
Shit day at work, you're like, fuck this, I'm going to the pub, have a bunch of beers, get bags, not go to work the next day.
Rip in all day. Ripping in all day. So usually it became... Addiction grows in isolation. So I was telling people that I was fine. I was cruising, but I was ripping in by myself. And then I'd have maybe quiet night on a Saturday to prove to people that
I'm not going out on Saturday.
And be like, I'm getting my shit sorted and give that facade that I had my shit together. But little did they know I'd partied 4 nights that week and I'd slept maybe 1 night. So what I was doing is I was partying. So I'd come home from work, get home for, rip in till maybe 4 or 5 in the morning.
By yourself?
By myself. Wow. Because I was in such debt and I was in such high addiction and denial
around you.
That I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it by myself. And the addiction grew in the isolation because it gave me... The only person that was going to get me in trouble was me by saying, I partied by myself last night. And because I was in so much trouble with work, I couldn't tell anyone. So I was like, no, I just cruised. I didn't do anything last night. But I just feel sick and tired. And, I don't know what's wrong with me. And keep up this big lie. And then I guess doing it by myself so much. And I'd do it when my girlfriend wasn't there as well. And, I was partying from, like I said, from 3 in the arvo to like 4 and 5 in the morning, lie down, try and sleep. Obviously wouldn't sleep,
Yeah.
go to work, have Dexies at work to stay awake and to continue on. And then I'd come home sometimes and party. Sometimes I did it at work, but like I kept that pretty, like honestly, yeah, I did it at work every now and again.
Yeah.
But I was never smashing drugs all day at work.
Yeah.
I was having the Dexies.
Yeah.
I was so edgy and schizo. Like I was just like picking my skin the whole time. Like I had scabs all over my arm because I was like so anxious that like I'd, you know.
Creepy crawlers in
your
skin. Just, like,
but just like.
Uncomfortable in your own skin.
Incomfortable, and then just trying to hyper focus on stuff that is distracting me from needing to go to bed and stuff like that.
Yeah, wow.
And then
tell me rock bottom.
Yeah, the rock bottom was I was in a really toxic relationship, and I'm grateful. I'm not really going to jump into that relationship part yet, but I've done that a bit, and I just want to say that where I am now, I guess I won't touch too much, but I will extend it later. That toxic relationship was the biggest blessing of my life. Because I was in such a bad headspace. We were fighting, she was smoking weed and drinking, and our manageability was drugs and alcohol. And then we'd fight and she would escape for a couple of days, and then I'm like, perfect, I can rip in. And I was in just partying like fucking no tomorrow. Bendering like 4 nights a week, man, you know, like, and by bendering, that's 48 hours, and then I'll sleep the next night, and then I'll have a shitty night's sleep and go and do another 2 days. And every factor in my life was bad. Yeah. Relationship, work, my mental health, finances, my family relationships, everything, mate. I was overweight for me. I was 94 kilos, and I should be 80. I'm 80 now. And I wasn't training, and I was in this like full victim mode. Everyone else's fault but mine. And I didn't have the confidence to break through. And I was just in this, digging myself up. Deeper hole, till I had a fatal seizure on a bender and had to be resuscitated back to life.
2023, December?
2023.
What can you remember of that?
I can remember I was at my boss's house, who I was already on dire straits with. So my mate was house sitting his house. We partied all weekend, all night, and were supposed to go to work. It was raining, so we just hid in the car just around from the job site and ripped in all day. In the car doing coke.
Wow, you and one of the other workers that you work with.
Yeah. And he was house sitting in the house, and we ended up, he's like, just come back to the house for a bit. I'll get ready and then we'll go to yours. But this is because it's raining. Yeah. And I was like, okay, man, but I don't feel safe going to the house. He's like, we're not going to stay for long. So we ended up he had a shower. We're getting ready. I was getting changed, and I was like, look, man, I'm just going to go home and get an Uber. And he's like, okay, I'm going to stay here. And I ordered the Uber, and I went to get up, and I sat back down, and it all went blank, everything. And I woke up 45 minutes to an hour later. Wow. So from Narrabeen, I was in Mona Vale. He's trying to call my parents, trying to call everyone. And my phone number is saved under Mum, because I'd previously, a couple of weeks prior, gone to get out of work and changed my name in my phone, and my number in my phone is Mum, and sent myself a message so I could screenshot that and send it to my boss.
Yeah, wow. It's every line tricky.
Yeah, exactly right. And he's trying to call my mum because I'm having a seizure.
Called the ambulance?
Called the ambulance eventually, yeah. And my family ended up coming, he ended up getting onto him. There was like 20 people in the room. There was 8 ambos. Wow. I came to, and they were surrounding me, and I was like, what the fuck? Him and his brother were both there, and they were both taking turns to do CPR on me. And
So you had a seizure and then became unconscious, so? I mean, not became unconscious, but then your heart stopped from the seizure?
Yeah, everything. They couldn't resuscitate me, and they gave up. I heard from a story that, funny enough, when we go into rehab, remind me about this. I met someone in there. When he was doing resus on me, he gave up. So he's on top trying to do resus, and he just cried out for his mum, and he gave up. Wow. And his brother then had to take over and give me resus as well. And then... And
are these like 2 mates who were kind of on the drugs with you as well for the
one
day?
Of them was on the bender with me.
So one was on the bender, and then his brother...
His brother was actually at the house as well.
Oh, okay. So
So he's on the bender, and he's just seeing his mate dying.
Yeah, wow.
And he's like in this like fucking oath, man. Like anything bad happens on a bender, let alone your mate dead in front of you, is just like, I've tried to contact him about it a few times. I don't know if he's ready to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So
the ambulance get there and resusc you?
Yeah, then they I don't think they defib me, no.
Okay.
But they definitely then worked
you
on me
back.
and helped me bring me back. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
There's obviously a grey area in there which none of the boys are ready to talk about what's going on, what actually happened. I've just heard bits and pieces, so I'm putting this together of what the main factors that I know.
Yeah.
There's obviously so much that I need to dive into, which I really want to get into with the guys when they're ready to talk about it, because it's like, I don't want to pressure them for the benefit of myself.
Your healing, yeah. You need to help them on their journey too.
Yeah. So I want them to open up, but I mean, that's going to be in my book. I really want to sit down and talk to them and open up about this, what's going to be in the book.
Yeah. So what do you remember? You come to, you piss
I've completely let myself go. I've pissed myself.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. They're both crying. I remember one of the boys is walking back just like, what the fuck? You know, and then the other one's grabbing my hand going, Davey, are you okay? You're alive. And like, it was like the most surreal thing. And I just remember looking up. I didn't know where I was. Didn't know who I was. And the ambulance is there. I started closing my eyes because I was like, this is obviously a bad dream, man. This is not what's reality. What the fuck is this? And then I started coming to a bit, and I tried to get up, and I just felt like someone's foot was on my chest, and I couldn't get up. And then I looked at myself, and I'm like trying to put words together, and I'm like so fucking out of it. And that's what I remember. And then I remember just when I came to, I was so embarrassed that I just pissed myself. Didn't know the recollection of what had actually happened around me.
Yeah, wow. And they broke your sternum as well, right?
Yeah, cracked my sternum, yeah.
Wow.
And
ambulance to hospital?
Ambulance to hospital, I don't remember what I was fucking saying. It was a bunch of gibberish. In there for 4 days. I actually had a great sleep in there.
I bet.
Because I hadn't slept for so long. Yeah, exactly right. It was actually like... Then I had... I had a relationship at the time, and I've spoken about this. When I got out of the hospital, my low point was just around the corner. I thought I just died. I come out of hospital. My girlfriend at the time had come to visit me in hospital, and she just left. She couldn't deal with it. And she ended up going MIA on me for like 7 days, and I guess that was her way of detaching herself away from me. At the time, I didn't know how to deal with it. I was like, how could you do this? Like, you know, I was in that emotional immaturity stage still, and, you know, victim mode. And a scenario happened where I couldn't deal with it, so I ended up getting back on the drink.
Within like a week, eh?
Yeah, it was two weeks exactly to the day I got out of hospital. So she went quiet on me for a week, and then we were semi-talking, and then we met up, and then scenario happened when I was in hospital, just out of hospital, and I couldn't deal with it. So I got back on the drink. And I remember getting on the drugs. I've spoken about it a bit, but I remember putting down coke. There was a situation, I put down coke, and I just hesitated, and I was like, I can't do this drug. Like, I've just come out of hospital. I'm just dead, and you're willing to go back in there. And my sternum was still fucked. I was renovating the house I was renting. It was fucking chaos. It was just... and I had this massive argument with myself to do this coke. And one side was saying, dude, give a fuck. You've got nothing to live for. You're a piece of shit. You're a loser. The other one was saying, come on, man, you just died. Like, it was an angel and a devil, but the angel was still devilish because it was a quiet one just saying, mate, you just died. How can you prepare yourself to go and do drugs again? And the other one was just fucking do it. You've done so much coke over the years. Yeah. And I remember walking over to it and just like, you know, the thoughts of leaning over and having a line, knowing that you could die straight after having it, but yet you can't stop yourself from doing it. It was fucking tough. And I'd sit on my bed after and just hold my heart. And I had an ex-girlfriend as well, who was my first love. So this is how it goes around and roundabouts. Yeah. She was on the FaceTime to me saying, Dave, like, what are you doing? Are you drunk? Like, I need you to be on the phone until you fall asleep. I'm not going anywhere. And she didn't know I was on drugs. So I would call her back, going and doing this and trying to hide it from her. It was such a fucking chaotic time. And
it's like addictions. People like say like, just don't do it. But it's like, you have to say no every minute of every day to not do drugs.
Yeah.
It's not about, it's only like, just don't do it. It's like, no, I have to say no to doing it all day, every day to overcome the addiction. So
people say to you, how can you just not do it? But I used to say to people, how can you just go to bed? You know, you really don't understand how dark addiction can get.
Yeah.
It is the worst thing that overtakes everything. And I say it's a manageability in an unmanageable life. It's something that takes over all your finances, all your self-respect, everything else, clouds the right things in your life for the wrong things.
Yeah, wow. So tell me about rehab. What was the turning point? Because, you know, you've relapsed straight away after hospital. You have that conversation with yourself, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
well, I had the conversation so many times prior with my family.
Yeah.
And that was like...
you needed to have the conversation with yourself.
So what happened was, after my seizure, when I was pushed into the hospital, my mum and dad are looking at me and I just fucking broke down. I've got the video on my phone. And I just said, Mum, I need to go to rehab. I can't do this anymore. Like, this is it. I'd had 2 seizures prior to that big one as well.
Yeah, wow.
So I had to technically die. I died twice. No, I died once. But the second seizure, one of my mates had to resuscitate me again. Pull me over, I was foaming from the mouth, just like whatever. Wow. I had to have that severity to push myself to get to where I am today. And I'm grateful for my downfall.
Yeah.
And then going into rehab after that, I just knew I had to do it. I had to change my living space. So I had to move back home with mum and dad. I had to build those relationships up with all of my family and friends that lost trust in me, because being an addict, you're a narcissist. You manipulate and you minimize a lot of stuff.
And then to put your hand up for rehab, I think it's so important to recognize, like, that's a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness.
Exactly, mate. And I'm so proud you said that, because it's like someone doesn't want to live their life anymore. That person going to rehab wants to change themselves. And the stigma around it is so fucking backwards. It's like, you're going to laugh at someone who wants to change their life while you probably need to change your life. And that's that whole thing of, I don't want to accept your advice because my advice is better, but what I'm doing is wrong.
We just project on other people, like, our insecurities. When we see someone else, like, going, I'm going to rehab, it's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, yeah, there has been some things that have been wrong with me, but I'm ready to, put my hand up and make them right now. So talk me about your experience at rehab. I was telling you off air that I'm catching up with Tom Carroll this afternoon. He's been on this podcast, 2-time world champion surfer. And he went to the same rehab clinic as you. I'm pretty sure at Curl there.
Yes,
and for him, one of the biggest things was meditation. So I'm really excited to hear your journey in the rehab and what the things you found helpful, what weren't helpful. And then, I think it's like 95% of most people who go to rehab relapse, and you're almost 2 years now.
Wow.
Drug and alcohol free. So you're in like that micro percent. So you should be so proud. Big, long question, but talk me about walking into rehab for the first time, how that was for the ego of someone who's
I just
been
got
so
shivers
proud.
down my it was amazing, man. Like the whole experience is obviously daunting because
did you feel shame and or you just like, fuck it, I'd rather feel this than feel like I did fucking
I think I had no choice. I think I died. What else is there? Like, come on, man, this is a wake up call. But the thing with my seizures was I didn't remember any of it. So after the other seizures, I got back on it straight away. I think I had a seizure on a Sunday morning actually, and I got back on the Tuesday night. Because you don't have any recollection or memory. So I went in there because I'd been toying with the idea to go to rehab for so long that I'd built up this confidence to my family. Yeah, you're going to change your life. Dropped. Yeah, no, I've got my shit together. Dropped. And this is like, mate, come on, this is your life now. And I think a lot of people with addiction don't know who they are. So going into rehab, I was able to categorize myself a lot better. And at the start, you attach yourself to these things and you kind of still have that victim mentality, and they give you a scripture and language to use, and you're like, oh, that's why I'm like that. And you kind of go, oh, that person made me this way. But the more you go in depth with yourself, the more you go, no, actually, that was me. And this is how I do it. And you become a massive empath in there.
Take radical responsibility, huh?
Radical responsibility. Exactly
Accountability. Right. I'm excited for you to read my book because that's like, in my own way, my journey's similar, but my external validation was to try and excel in sports. And like, if I'm not doing well, my self-worth is in the dumps. And finding this life of guided by values and guided by like how I view myself.
Yeah.
I can control that. How other people view me, I can't control that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to understand, I guess, what some of the mindset shifts were that were really beneficial for you in rehab. How long were you there for? How was the detoxing process and stuff?
So I before I went in there, because I had no money, mate. Like I was broke. I was driving around. I was 70K in drug debt. Hadn't paid tax for 5 years. You know, that was a big thing. So I'm just going to say this as well.
Disregard all your responsibilities.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of males in the trade industry as well, we fall into a trade because it's easy. We don't want to study in year 12, and we're like, I'm speaking mainly about myself, but I see it a lot. Yeah. We live in this like, too cool for school. Fuck, I don't want to try at school. And we fall into a trade because it's easy. And then we essentially do something we don't like for the rest of or for a long period of time. Mm-hmm. Some of us get married and have kids. So you're stuck in that thing because it's making the money. Now, the only external validation, once again, we'll say that word, we get is through gambling, drinking, running away from our issues, and then having beers, and just like the job sites just, it's...
Feed it.
Yeah, they feed it, man. And I guess for me, fuck, I fully lost my train of thought.
That's right. No, just the culture on job sites. But the beautiful thing is, like, I do so many workshops at many different job sites. Like, I work with quite a few different companies when it comes to tradies and running workshops with them to try and sort of shift culture. And there is some that don't have that sort of culture. So I understand where you're coming from, because I've seen absolutely that culture too. So it is nice to see that there is other ways to do it.
Yeah.
But it really does take that internal strength, because I'm sure you would have still, on every work site, had that one guy that probably got a bit judged by everyone, like, oh, come on, have a beer, mate. Oh, no, I'm going to free training. And you're like, this guy.
I know.
So it's like trying to have the
it's emotional maturity,
it's emotional maturity, and that's where, like, why my business is called The Good Human Factor. And I'm sure so many people, I didn't realize this until years after, look at me going like, oh, he thinks he's a good human. I'm like, no. I'm just trying to listen to the inner good human we all have more often than listening to the judgmental, other devil that we have on our shoulder. Because I like worked on a job site, and I'd be like that sometimes, but then I'd also catch myself and be like, wait a second, like, I kind of envy that guy can have the strength to just go and have dinner with his chick rather than like, go do this.
Definitely. And I think that's when we need to look into ourselves. And I think, mate, you did something which propelled men's health, because, men's health. You stepped in you probably got some slack. I mean, there was probably times where people were talking shit and that, but those kind of people, and I've been there. I was probably one of them.
And I understand that too. And I would have been one of them to myself if someone else was doing it at times.
But you've lived that other part, and now you're on that side. So I think you became an empath through seeing yourself in another version. And what you did was to start something to become vulnerable for other males to become vulnerable. And I really respect what you're doing, because
I appreciate that, bro.
When I think of someone who's really trying to change the bad roommate in their mind, is you. And to spread positivity and awareness, I think of you.
No,
and that's something that like I said, I aspire to, mate, and it's admirable.
No, thank you.
And I guess, like, on the work site, this is the male thing, this is why our culture's fucked, because on the job site, if you don't drink, you're a weirdo and you're looked down on. If you don't drink in the outside when you're around your mates, you're a weirdo, and you've always got that one person, just have a fucking beer, mate. Just do it. What are you, a pussy? And I was that guy. Have a row. Why aren't you having a row? You're a fucking idiot. But I'm trying to just make myself feel better because I want you to do it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, you're putting down someone who's trying to change their life, or making the right decisions when you're the fuck up and you're creating the bad decisions. What is that? Toxic.
Absolutely. So tell me about rehab. What were a few of the techniques or some of the, I guess, things that you learned that you found helpful that maybe other people listening could, maybe add into their life?
I guess it helped me categorize who I was. I think people with addictions, they don't really know who they are because they're seeking that external validation, or they're using drugs to numb themselves.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to find the best version of you by indulging in drugs all the time?
Yeah.
So what happened, I found myself so invested in, oh, this is me, this is it. And those days weren't for long. It was so tough, so grueling, but one of the most eye-opening experiences. For me, I found how to become an empath. I found that I had a sex addiction, and I was able to kind of somewhat label myself. And the biggest thing I got out of it was learning about myself and learning about who I wanted to be and why I went wrong. And it was like therapy, like oversized. You have like 10 hours a day, you're up at 6, then you're doing like work site talks, and then you're doing also like these counseling sessions with your group, and you're learning and you're doing things and you're talking about yourself. It's very compact and it's very fulfilling, very draining. And that was for
how long were you there for?
Inpatient was 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Then I did the outpatient. Yeah. So inpatient, it's a full hospital. It's a psychiatric hospital.
Yeah.
But I would say everybody in this world would benefit to go there.
Well, it sounds like you just learned how to self-reflect. It's like, if you can get to the end of your day and think back through your day and go, did my actions line up with the values that I say are important to me? And if they didn't, okay, I'm going to do better tomorrow. Not judging yourself for making changes. Whereas it sounds like before that, and so many people we know, and I don't do it every day, but the more we can reflect on ourselves, but also reflect on other people's story, like that's the definition of empathy, understanding somebody else's story.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if we're not even brave enough to understand our own story, how can we make changes? So it's like having that a capacity to look at yourself non-judgmentally and be like, fuck, like, I'm here. How do I steer the ship in a different direction?
Yeah. My dad said to me before he goes to rehab, because the thing is, I thought I was an empath. I thought I was generous, but the thing is, I was only generous to the people that I could get something out of. The people that were really good to me were my family, who got me out of like drug debts, and they looked after me. I disrespected those people. My dad said to me, you got to become more of an empath. And I was like, I am, like, I care for people. And he's like, no, us. You know how much you almost broke our marriage up because of your drug abuse. You made us spend money sometimes that we don't have to pay your drug dealers. You put so much stress on us. My mum's found one son dead, and my parents have already lost a son. They don't need to go through another death of another son. So my mum distanced herself from me, understandably, and I attached myself to that sentence my dad said, to become an empath.
Actually put yourself in other people's shoes.
Yes. But you can't do that when you're clouded with drugs and your authentic self isn't there. That's why when people go, just stop doing drugs, you can't, because it changes your personality. Changes everything you know about yourself, and it only focuses in and hones in one thing, and that's your addiction.
Yeah, wow. Let's talk about, since you've got out of rehab, it's been almost 2 years now?
20 months,
20 months, yeah.
20 months.
Congratulations, man. Haven't touched drugs or alcohol since. Good on you.
No.
That's, talk me through that journey. What's the last couple of years
man,
of your life been like?
It was tough. So just at the rehab, I did 3 weeks outpatient, inpatient, 2 weeks inpatient, and then I did a family program with mum and my dad.
Yeah, wow.
And that was the biggest turning point into our relationship to form it. That's what really propelled me after the family program to start focusing in and honing in on bettering myself. So I have a therapist, which is a life coach. I do that once a week. I do courses with her. Therapy was massive for me because, like, I've got all these things that I need to learn.
Like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, talk therapy.
Yeah, and it's amazing because, like, if I'm living this life of it all came out externally, I have to go internally. And the only way to do that is by opening up, doing these breathwork things. Now, I did it. Whoa, that was the fucking wildest thing. I will tell you.
Experience. I'm a trained breathwork facilitator, and I've done some crazy. I did a 12-week course, like 150-hour course, and then we did a 5-day intensive retreat at the end. And that 5-day intensive retreat, we had to like be guided and guide other people through these conscious connected breathing, which is literally just like for like 20 to an hour straight without the holds. And after about 20 minutes, your brain goes into this thing called transient hyperfrontality, where all the blood comes from the front part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, your thinking and logic, and sort of goes to the back of your brain, your amygdala and your sort of fear processing and emotions. And like you have been saying this whole conversation, we push them down. And I guarantee this is where you're about to go, holy fuck, your experience. When we do breath work, it almost like gets us out of this logic and part of our thinking and starts to bring up any emotions, traumas, things that we've pushed down.
Oh my God.
So I did this week, I did like 5 days in a row of like 2 a day, and I watch people have like seizures basically. I watch people have cathartic, like cramping, like tetany it's called. I cried my eyes out many times. I fucking got angry. I had tetany like every time. Tetany is like a sign. It's from the blood chemistry changing. It's when your body goes into hypercapnia, where you've got a buildup of carbon dioxide. So when we breathe in oxygen, oxygen's like fuel for our body. And when we over-oxygenate ourselves, we're actually like, then when we like hold our breath, it ends up like, basically it's our blood chemistry changes and it tenses up. But it's also, some people call it like you tensing up is like spiritually you're holding on to something and then like, you just let it go through a release.
So how?
So I've done this breath work, so I understand where you're probably going to go with this story.
But with that, sorry, I'm so interested in this shit, right? Because when it does that, because I fucking went
and you cramp probably in your jaw and shit, everything.
I was 3 people were holding me down, and I was like fucking
crazy, right?
crying and for me that was like I was fucking having a seizure awake, because I somehow like moved my fucking arm and I grabbed my brother's arm and he was just worried about me because I was just making these fucking noises.
It's crazy what experience you can have from just your breath.
Dude, okay. I had a breakthrough as well in there. And it was like 3 hour with Johannes.
I haven't done his stuff. He's like breathless expeditions or something.
Yeah, it was breath work, breakthrough or something. Yeah. And anyway, but you do like you lead up. Sorry.
You learn how to breathe properly through your nose and down your belly.
And you go into a session before the big one. Mm-hmm. The session before the big one, I saw a figure lying down. And I haven't done acid. I've never really lost myself because I'm a control freak. I like to know what's going on. Yeah. So for me, it's hard to let go. Mm-hmm. And I saw a figure laying down on the ground, and I saw a blue silhouette coming in and out. It would go like that and then get pulled down. Pulled down. I thought about it, and I was like, that was when I died, and my body and my spirit were detaching from each other.
Wow.
And I was like, what else could that be? What else could that be? But it was so...
Just lying down with your eyes closed while doing the breath work.
Yeah, but it wasn't my face. It was just a figure and a blue silhouette going in and out. And it was the spirit leaving. Mm. And I knew that I was in for a big fucking breakthrough. So that was the first section. And then the second section, I just like lost it. And I was like, it's scary, man. It's fucking really daunting to have that. And being a control freak, to break through and let that happen is so difficult. So halfway through, I end up like, they calm me down, 2 people lying on me, just like breathe and just
back to your nose, breathing.
Once
you get back to your nose, then slow.
And then the hand sort of stops cramping, and I was like that. And then I sort of let go, and I tried to open my eyes. I went to get up because I just couldn't be in that room. Mm. And there's like 40 people around you. Mm. And I got up and I collapsed and I got carried out of the section. Wow. And I just held my brother and I just fucking let it all out. I just cried. Mm. And it was fucking scarily beautiful.
Cathartic.
Yeah. And I just was like that. And then these people did the best work on me, man. They were just holding me, cuddling me.
Safety.
That is what I needed. And I was like, how do they know that that's what I needed?
That's what we're trained to do. That's
trained to just support.
You like initially with breathwork, like you want to share space. A lot of people say hold space. It's like, no, I'm just here to share the space with you. And if you need me, I'm there to support you and just a hand or wherever, just to let you know, like it's safe to release. It's okay.
I actually had 2 girls cuddling me from both sides. And
Spewing.
yeah, I know. And because I actually did it with my friend who.
Was this at the rehab or was this after?
This
the
is
rehab?
after the rehab.
Okay.
But I actually went.
Who recommended breathwork for you?
Well, because I've got a group of friends. Since I got sober, I've got a few good of my friends sober.
And I bet your
Yeah.
breathwork's a part of.
Yeah.
people's.
So, funny enough, she keeps coming into it. The girl I dated with my first love, who was on the phone, also did breathwork with me. And then, because we're really close friends now, she's gotten sober. She's just done a year sober.
Nice.
Because she's seen if I can do it, if I can do it, she can do it. And she did the breathwork thing with me. And for some reason, I just wanted to hug her and just like, she was a comfort to me. But she came out and she's seen these two girls cuddling me and she's like, a standard Davey, like, you know. But it was fucking mental, and I'm not going to lie, I'm nervous to do it again. But it's something that I need to do because the reaction and everything I got just from breath work is fucking unbelievable.
I'll have to take you through one because it sounds like such a great experience, but also when you do have quite a lot of trauma and stuff down, like it's great that you could feel and could release in a room full of 40 people. Like quite often your subconscious won't release when you're around a lot of people because you kind of have that fear of judgment.
Yeah.
But you obviously just had so much that just needed to be let out, like needed to be cracked open.
Yeah.
So like I'd recommend trying to find like an instructor to take you through a few sessions solo.
I did one the other day with Teddy Brennan.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, but I don't like it.
Didn't like by yourself.
He's
like
amazing.
Having the people around you to.
I don't like the breath work in general. For me, it was such an amazing experience, but then I also fight back on this. It's something that I don't like to do, but obviously that's where the work is.
Yeah, I know
so I'm in this contradiction of myself of, fuck, you don't like it, but you've got to go and do it.
It's breath work. It's
yeah,
not like,
exactly right.
Yeah.
And I did it, and he did a really good job. And I ended up, every time I've done it, it's been worthy. But I just don't feel comfortable. It's very awkward to be there and comfortable and breathe like that.
Yeah.
And hear other people breathing, and then my immaturity comes in and it sounds like they're having sex or something.
Yeah, you have the judgment. But that's why I feel like the solo sessions can sometimes, if it's with someone that you trust, that you're like, I don't have to be anywhere right now. I'm just here.
Yep.
Not to guide you or hold you. I'm just here to share the space with you and get your breath how it needs to be. And I'm just here to keep you safe. So whatever you need to do, you can do.
Yeah.
Like, there's no judge. Yeah. So it's setting up that capsule. Like when we did our retreat, we'd done 12 weeks of 3-hour learnings a week online. So we'd kind of started to get to know everyone.
Yeah.
And then at the retreat, we got to like connect and we felt just safe with everyone straight away.
Where is this? This is a full...
This is like so my friend owns this thing called Cool to Be Conscious. It's like a breathwork, it's a breathwork movement basically. They do like heaps of big beach activations and run these courses. My mate Ryan Hubbards does it. So it's like an online like 10-week module.
Wow.
And then it finishes with this thing and then you learn how to be an instructor, which is...
Maybe that's like...
That could be a next thing. I can link you with him. He's a fucking legend.
Because
he's cool.
I don't want to do it and I don't feel comfortable, but then imagine going on a course. And
You'll really like it because it's the course... The first like quarter of the course is about self-discovery because you as an instructor have to be not strong enough, but self-aware enough so that if you see someone fucking having a seizure or having a release or an anger fit or crying, you can calmly do it because you know you're safe in yourself. So there's a lot of self-discovery and learning, and then there's a lot about physiology and the anatomy and the biochemistry to understand what's happening. And then there's like the technique and the facilitation part of it. And then there's the retreat to like bring it all together.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, wow.
Talk me about the last 6 months of life. What's been happening? I know you're writing a book at the moment.
Yep.
Coming out on a lot of podcasts to try and share your story to hopefully encourage, men to speak up and not have addiction as this sort of taboo thing to talk about. Back at work, so I have some mutual friends of yours, and I was speaking to one of them yesterday, and he's like, "Yeah, Davey's like paid up his debts that he had to like this person and that person." So like, how good does it feel to not have
great, man.
the cloud over your head of addiction?
It's life's chaotic anyway. Why create more chaos? And I'm just finding peace in finding myself. Life is beautiful, but you can make it more beautiful, or you can make it less. And I'm doing all this work. I've paid my debts. I paid them off. I've got my own business now. I've got 2 guys.
Nice.
I'm writing a book. I'm doing projects, other projects that I want to do to get into this space of
You have time
public
and energy
speaking.
to do that, not just waste
Exactly
it all on
right.
that.
And I'm just wanting to make something of myself, man. You know, I have this newfound view on life, and like I've had to work towards it. Like every day I'm doing something I think I need it, and I'm grateful that I don't have a partner or a mortgage right now, because it's given me space and freedom to set myself up. That will come, and I think the pressure of society is so hard to realize that maybe you're behind, but you're sacrificing your time now to better your future.
Absolutely.
So everything in my life has changed for the better. My relationship with my family. I'm excited about having passive incomes, working towards something that I really, really enjoy. I love building. I'm always going to love building, but there's more things out there now that I really want to attach myself on. So if I can create something that does both, which I want to, that will be the thing. I've got my book, I've got my memoir. I just got to kind of get a publisher to help me attach themselves onto it, to help with the finances, the legal stuff, and also to get the word out there a bit better.
Yeah, well, when we finish this chat, I can tell you a bit more about my book journey, because my book probably is going to be very close to out when this episode comes out. This might be like a week or two before the book actually launches, but I've got you a signed copy sitting next to us. So I'm excited to see what you think, because I think you're going to find some similarities in my journey, and this idea of really shifting the mindset from that of a victim to a hero, and being like, you know what, I'm going to steer my ship in the direction I want to, not just be pulled by all these, external validation, by these addictions, by all these things. It's like, no, I want to grab the steering wheel and actually guide myself. But man, it's been an amazing chat. Likewise with the speaking, when we jump off, I can give you a bit of a run through of sort of how I've built this ecosystem through the early days judgment that probably people who knew me, it's about staying strong to yourself. And my whole thing is like, if your work and your words will positively change one person's life, then it's worth doing it.
Yeah.
And I know you probably already have with many, many people with the podcast you've been on. Hopefully a few people on this episode have felt inspired to, make some changes, maybe self-reflected and being like, maybe I do have a problem, and, it is time to, start doing some things differently. So I really appreciate the vulnerability.
No, I appreciate it
and opening up. Last question I finish with every guest is the same. So what does being a good human mean to Davey Lloyd?
Peace, man. Peace. Everything now, man. Like, I mean, everything, who I was to who I am now, my biggest goal in life is to be a better human, to spread the word of being better. There's so many times that you can get angry at something, but it's always better to be positive. And it's hard to break that negative tone in your head. But if you can do it, you've become a fucking superhero.
I love that, man. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to leave in the show notes your social media if anyone wants to get in touch. If you're a tradie and have a work site and you're like, you know what, I've seen a few of my younger guys that have got some issues that I probably can't talk to them on a relatable level and want someone to come and, do a keynote, definitely reach out to Davey. I know you'll be able to put together something really cool. I can give you a couple points and tips on keynote speaking, because I've done hundreds of them now, which is
cool.
is really fun. It's great to be able to get up and just share from the heart and leave people with a newfound mindset. So thank you so much, brother. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thanks for jumping on Good Humans.
Pleasure, mate. It's been fun.